Hi, Neal. Welcome to From the Stage Door.
Hello.
And thank you
Thanks
for
for
being
having
my
me.
guinea pig. So you're the first one. So
Pleasure.
doing a bit of a Panto special.
Okay.
But first of all, we're just going to touch a little bit on your background for anybody that's not familiar
Okay.
with your career. So my
Okay.
first question is: have you always had a passion for theatre and performing?
Yes. I it was from actually from beginning of senior school. I fell in love with it. It's just I've always liked watching films and theatre. My parents weren't very theatre orientated, so it kind of came from nowhere really. But I knew I had a fascination about it, and it was my first school production. Not in fact, no, yeah, junior school, not senior school. Sorry, it was a I can't remember the name of the show, but I played a character called Carrots, and I realised I don't know how I was the lead, but it had just in that split moment, I had the audience laughing with me, then they were crying with me and stuff like that, and I went, "Ooh, I like this," and I pursued it ever since. Really, yeah. So I've always had a passion for it, definitely.
And did you train professionally, or did you just go straight into auditions?
Well, yes and yes, as such, because I had a really fantastic youth theatre that I went to, which was the Everyman Theatre, Cheltenham Everyman um,
Mm-hmm.
youth theatre, and we always did all our productions in the main house or in the studio, but always with professionals around us. And then oh well, one of my well, when I say my first mentor, really, she said, "Why don't you go to college because you've got something I think you can do well with it?" And I went, "Nah, I won't, but I'll give it a shot." And I got in. So I went to college called Arts Educational or Arts Ed Educational. Yeah. What's full title then was Arts Ed London Schools. But yeah, everyone just goes Arts Ed now.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, that's it.
So,
Music. Yeah, when I went. Yeah.
what was your first ever professional acting job?
Um. Well, my first one was on tour. Was Joseph on tour. Um. I went to the open auditions. Um, and I thought, you know what, it's a bit of a jolly, it's a bit of a day out. I didn't think I was going to get anything, but I thought, you know what, if this is the career I'm going to go into, I probably need the experience. So my other half at the time pushed me to go, and I said, okay, you're fine. And then I went to audition, and the next thing you know, I was playing Judah on tour
Oh,
with someone you might, Mr. Philip Schofield, as my first ever show,
wow,
professional production, yeah.
wow.
And it was an
That's really
experience, that's for sure.
that's a cool first job.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
mentioned your mentor when you're training.
yeah.
Who's been your greatest influence on you when you were growing up and being in the industry?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I mean, she was a lady who was like she was like a tour de force. She was always pushing people in the right direction. And then I met another lady who was at my school as well, who actually got her into my school because do like school productions and stuff like that, called Rachel Bartley. So if anything else, it's probably those two ladies who've been my mentor and basically helped me get to where I am. And also basically my proper grounding, if anything else, to be real, to be, about the true performance and so forth. So it was my drama teacher, and as I say, her name was Sheila Mander, was my mentor at the Everman Youth Theatre. And then obviously from years on, obviously you kind of watch other actors and performers, and obviously I just realised that a lot of my mentors actually are influences are women, because I was going to say Judi Dench, who I love watching perform, and Helen Mirren. So yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I've got a lot of women in my life.
Why not? So, what would you say the best
Yeah.
piece of advice you've ever received, like throughout life, not necessarily theatre, just the best piece of advice anyone's ever given you?
Another good question. Do you know what? It was a woman called Yvette I went to college with. Isn't a lot of women who's very influential in my
Well,
life?
same.
Um, right, but I she said to me, she was my one of my speech teachers at college, and she said to me, never change, always be yourself. And that's when you'll find your true self. And ever since then, it was almost like, when I go into auditions on myself, when I performed, obviously I'm playing a character, but try and play that character as true to itself as possible and stuff like that. So that was, and obviously I've taken that on in life as well. What you see is what you get with me,
Yeah.
as you know, and so it's just me. So yeah, and I just hope try to be as true as possible.
Yeah, I think that is good advice. I mean, especially within the industry, it's very hard to get swept up in things that go on, I think.
It's very, yeah, you can be extremely easily influenced. It
Yeah.
depends on where you are, what you're doing at the time, because you do, and what level you get to, because there's a lot of yes men out there.
Yeah.
So whatever you want, you go, oh, I can get away with that, and then next thing you know, you're asking for ridiculous things, you're still getting it. You go, what? Technically, you can get away with murder, as they say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I've been very lucky in my career with some. I've had some really beautiful people around me. I've had some people from back home around me still in my life. You've always kept me grounded, and so I've always been true to myself. That's well, I think I have anyway. So that's weird. That was, yeah.
So, when you're performing, do you get nerves, and how do you deal with your nerves? Do you have like dressing room routines that you have to do specific things to get your head in the right space, or do you just flag it?
No, I just again, it's like because I get very nervous every show I do because I just don't know who's out there. I mean, not because I want to know who's out there. It's a case of like because I like to give everyone who's every time someone comes and sees me in a show or any kind of performance or know what it is, I like to give them the best that I can give them, and I always get nervous about that. So I always just basically just go like, you're here, just do it. And it's always, I think, what's the most bizarrest thing is, it's almost like a security blanket, because I get nervous on the wings before my first entrance, that once I'm out there on the stage, I go, oh, I'm all right now. Do you know what I mean? I've got that bit out the way. So it's almost like the performance itself kind of looks after me. It's basically getting over that first hurdle.
Yeah.
And then I just go like, okay, and then I'm fine. Now let's get into the rhythm of things. And after that, the nerves are gone.
And do you
it's like Panto, literally.
No, go on. I was going to say, do you like?
So it's like Panto. Oh, say it again. Go on.
So, do you like to know if you've got family or friends coming in to watch? Do you like to know that they're in the audience, or would you rather not know until after the show?
Personally, I'd rather not know. I've always, asking many of my friends, they think I'm mad. I said, like, don't you want to know who's in? I go, no, I don't, because if it's not to be judged, I know that it's to support me. It's just a case of like, I want them to see what I would do in a normal performance and not do, something extra or anything like that, because I'd probably get more nervous and get dry mouth and go, they do kick in kind of thing. But no, I personally, I know it's bad of me, but I'd rather not know. Whereas I know some performers love to know who's out there.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Yeah. That's just me.
I can understand that, and especially I know if I know somebody's in, I want to know where they are, and I want to know where they're sitting, and then you kind of get distracted by the fact that they're there, and it's like, where are they? I need to know.
I mean, it's like if I have a vague idea that I know that they're in, then I might do a little peruse if I can. It amazes me still that people don't think we can see the audience. We can see a small amount, not a massive amount, due to the lighting. But no, I do sometimes like I look at, well, depending on what the gig is and what the scene is. If I have to look out to the audience, my eyes do want to go, oh, so and so's in, stuff like that. But then as I say, it's me knowing someone's in doesn't help the nerves before I go on. That makes any sense. If anything else, I get more nervous knowing that someone's in. But it is nice to see someone at the end, and I go, "Oh, there you are, hello," and wave at the end. It's quite nice. But
yeah, I can totally understand that.
Well, that's that.
So, what would you say out of all the roles that you've done today has been your most challenging role?
Challenging. I thought they'd be easy questions.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. Most challenging. I did a musical years ago called Smokey Joe's Cafe, and I think that was the most challenging show for me yet, because it was 9. I was lucky to work with. It was 9 performers, but I was lucky enough to work with 8 fantastic performers. But the challenge for me was it was kind of like my first leading. It was 9. You had 9 leads basically, and that was my first leading role. I mean, we were all supporting each other and stuff like that, but vocally, it was a very challenging show for me, because I don't know if you know the show Smokey Joe's Cafe. It's basically all the songs. Well, not all the songs, but the majority of songs that Lieber and Stoller wrote. Actually, it was a song that Lieber and Stoller wrote, and Lieber and Stoller were the guys that made, for me personally, made Elvis famous. or known, because there was the songs like Jailhouse Rock and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They did loads of songs like that for him. But standing alone, it was like amazing show to do. I was honoured to be part of it. But vocally, it was a massive challenge. There was a song that most people know, that known by Dolly Parton, if anything else, actually. Yeah, and also Whitney Houston as well. And I Will Always Love You. But the vocal rendition of that in that show was so tasking for me. It was a massive challenge, and I worked hard and hard and hard. I think I never really got to it, but I think I was too young at the time, but just the right part of my career to be doing that. And I think that was most challenging for me. But I loved every minute of being in part of that show. It's one of those shows you go like, I'll go back to that in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Probably not vocally, but I love being in it.
So what would be your dream role or your dream show to be a part of if you could be offered anything? Sorry, I'm making you really think, aren't I?
Yes, that's right. What would be my dream role?
Not necessarily like gender specific, either. Literally any role that you'd want to play.
Well, a lot of my friends keep saying to me that, you know, they would have loved to have seen me play the genie in Aladdin.
Yeah, I can see that.
That would have been great fun to play, I think. There was that. But also as well, I also like, I've forgotten his name of the character now because he put him on the spot. There's a role who's basically was played by Eddie Murphy, and I can't remember. In Dreamgirls, that would be a role to play. I can't remember that as well. But Theatrical, I don't know why. I've got this beam of bonnet. I've done a bit of Shakespeare, but I'd love to have played Othello at some point.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be that's it. Definitely, I'm retired. I'm done. Thank you, Rick. I'm gonna.
I think with Shakespeare as well, though, you can kind of do it in any kind of style, can't you? You can really bring your own take on it as well. So I think it's a lot more open to your perception of it. Yeah.
I mean, as a dreamer, that would have been when I was performing properly and like full on. Yeah, I definitely would have loved to play Othello.
I can see you doing that.
A bit short though, but it'd been different.
Okay, so I'm going to make you think again now. What has been the funniest thing that has happened to you on stage? Either something gone wrong or just something that's had you corpse or almost corpse on stage?
Question really should be, when don't I corpse on stage? Just think the funniest thing for me.
Or when have you not been able to cover the fact that you've corpsed on stage?
Well, there's two things that have happened to me that's made me laugh, and I've nearly stopped, even though it was a solo for me. It was one of the first time was Joseph on tour, and it's obviously singing the calypso, and I'm trying to sing to the best of my ability, and for some reason I don't know why something made me laugh, and I got up and I started singing. Okay, so you understand with Joseph and the calypso, there's an action for every lyric I sang in the calypso, right? So there's me for some reason. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I just looked down and I started laughing to myself. And I went, "Oh, it's a song." And I went, "Oh no!" And I started singing the second verse first. So everyone's looking at me like, "We're doing all the actions to the first verse. It made no sense." I'm going, "Oh no, I can't come back." So I just sing the. It was just literally, that's my first time making a mistake, right? And I was literally in tears of laughter. And we laughed. So that got me going. And I think the whole cast as well, because they didn't know what to do. They just had to carry on with the movements. And then the second time was I was doing, again, a show I just mentioned with Monkey Joe's, where for some reason, I think I was having such a good time on stage, right? Yeah. I wasn't laughing. I wasn't messing around. I was in the moment, really in the moment.
Yeah.
And before a song called D.W. Washburn, there's a song called On Broadway. And I was really going for it, going, yeah, having such a great time with the number. I split my pants. And I can't go off because I do a quick change on stage, and then I've got a slide in the front. I was literally laughing to myself with the whole number. People going, "What's he laughing at?" because I knew it was right from literally from the front to the back. And the reason why I'm laughing about it is because there's a bit in the song where I've got to run to the forward of the stage, pretend I'm falling off, and then turn around and bend forward. And I ran forward and said, "I am so sorry," on the mic. turn around and literally they could see my jock strap because I had to bend forward. Like, and we're going, oh, yeah. So for me, I didn't sing that number for the rest of the number. I was just laughing to myself. People go, we laugh. And they go, oh, that's why. So yes, unfortunately, the audience saw a lot more than they paid for.
They got their money's worth that night.
I'm not sure about that. There was a lot of returns afterwards, like so, a lot of free funds in that show. Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna do it, you got to do it in style, right?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So throughout the shows that you've done,
yeah,
has there been any props or costumes that you've sneaked home and still have?
You know what? Oh God, where's this going?
I'm not going to report you, I promise.
Do you know what? I'm going to be absolutely truthful to you, right? I've never ever taken a costume.
Mm-hmm.
Because majority of times it's like that's the thing, you tours or the end of a run of a show. Because the wardrobe, depending on how many people are in the show, wardrobe is so efficient. Right? It does feel like sometimes you take off a costume and literally put it in the back ready for the next day or the next show. But you take off a costume and someone goes, thank you. And it's gone. You go, oh, it's because it's like, so you can't steal anything. But the odd prop or two can go missing.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say. I mean, I like to take the odd trinket to remind me of going, oh, that's from that show. That's beautiful. Yeah, I remember that. But I have got a few things, but nothing like major. So no full-on costumes. But yeah, I have.
Just mementos.
Fill in my bag.
I mean, it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? You know.
So only one or two things. One or two things that they wouldn't really miss, but yeah.
And sometimes there's more than one of a prop anyway. It's like a spare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they're all gone. But yeah.
Okay, so have you ever done a job that you wished or that you could leave off your CV? Because you just thought, I've done it, but that was awful. I never ever want to be reminded that I've done that.
I can't really answer that. The thing is that if it's not on my CV and you know I've done that show, that's why.
Okay. That's a yes, and we'll leave it there.
Yeah, because I've got different versions on my CV, so that's why. So yeah. Yeah.
All right. We'll leave that there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've toured with a few different shows. What's your favourite theatre to perform in?
Oh, that's a good one. There's quite a few because I mean I love the King's Theatre in Glasgow. That for some reason I just absolutely love it there. It's a beautiful theatre. I've not long been to Milton Keynes. That's a massive hall. I think why I love it because they've got that collapsible ceiling, so the ceiling can come down in and out. I think amazing. Oh God! Of course, I've got to say my favourite theatre would be the Cheltenham Everyman because that's where it all started for me.
Yeah,
I love that theatre, and it's nice because I did a touring show, went back there. It's really weird because it's like because I did youth theatre there, and then to go back there as a technical, as a professional stroke adult, I was going. It's not as big as I thought it was. You know what I mean? So that was. But yeah, those are probably. I probably have a few more, but yeah, those are my things I can think of right now as my favourite theatres. But I've been to quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did tour for like 5.5 years at one point in my career, and I was lucky to go back to back on that. So some theatres I've been to once or a couple of times, but yeah, there's quite a few that I like. But those are the ones that speak to mind right
now. So, throughout your performance career, what's your most surreal moment? Like your pinch me moment? Like, can't believe this is happening.
I did South Pacific at the National Theatre, and I never thought I would ever get to perform there professionally on the Olivier stage. And at one point, I did have a moment where it wasn't as I would say, an out-of-body experience, but I did look out. And I was in the middle of performance, and it was a full house, and I looked out and I went, I'm at the National Theatre.
Yeah.
And I looked around and I went, you lot are watching me. That's really weird at the National Theatre. And I looked down and I went, on the Olivier stage. I was like, wow. And it was great. And I was very lucky to have like a small solo in there It's a trio. We had a trio at the beginning of Act 2, but I had a little solo in that bit, and I was like going, I literally was singing, thinking, I'm singing at the National Theatre.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because some people, a lot of people say, like, I want to do on Broadway, I want to do the West End. I've done the West End by this point, but National Theatre, I thought, wow, yeah. So that was my yeah. It's a moment I would always cherish. But that moment, I literally on stage, I'm not going, I'm at National Theatre. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Awesome. Okay. Right. What advice would you give your younger self?
Save your money to pay your tax.
And do you do that?
Well, you just don't really know when you're out there. You get paid X amount, and then you go like, oh yeah, tax man, what's that? But that's what it was like back then. But what advice I give to myself? Probably just to enjoy it more and relax more, because obviously, especially straight out of college, I was extremely green for quite a few years, and lucky to experience a lot of great opportunities in performing in many numerous places, West End, UK #1 tours, that kind of stuff. I'd probably say just relax a bit more and just enjoy it, because I just thought it's always that pressure on you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and it's always pressure, I think, on everybody. I mean, from the lighting to sound, stage management, directors, there's always like, it's always pressure on everybody. But I think just to relax a bit more. I think I was quite not stressful, but it is stressful. But I probably put more stress on myself than when I should have at the time.
I think it's an industry where you're overly critical of yourself. Whatever you're doing.
Yeah. It's like, why'd you do that? Stuff like that. It's another reason why I did Joseph twice in my career. I did almost bookend my career at the time, because I did finished on Joseph with Lee Mead and stuff like that, and Gareth Gates, who took over from Lee. And because I thought it's a prime example now. I've got an opportunity to play it different than how I did it X amount of years ago.
Yeah.
And I felt like I did. I went, yeah, that's it now. I've done that. And it's just that thing about just relax more, just do it more. But I think that's a maturity thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I get that. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Mamma Mia.
Okay.
Okay, so you created the role of Pepper for Mamma Mia when it first opened.
Yes.
A few years ago, should we say?
Yeah.
When you guys were in rehearsals, did you know the impact it was going to have? Did you know how big a show it was going to be, sort of when you had the scripts and when you were doing stuff?
Categorically, no. No one knew it would last this long. I mean, it's amazing. Still know that I was part of that original team. But no one had any idea that the show would last that long. And to be absolutely honest, because we were the first of its kind, really. Yeah. Jukebox, they're now known as like jukebox musicals and stuff like that. And we were the first, and we didn't think. I'd be absolutely honest, when we first read the script, we thought, that'd be nice 6 months in the West End. We thought, no one's really seen this before. No one's really dealt with this before, and it was literally the word of unknowns. But we did our best, and it wasn't until we literally our first preview, we went, oh wow, because there was an announcement saying this is our first preview, so things might go amiss and stuff like that. And we might have to stop because we had automation and stuff like that. All using technology was more or less for the first time anyway. And then literally it's like they made an announcement, and the first chord hit, and it was like euphoric in the auditorium. We went, oh, we might have something here, and then that was it.
And then sort of like audience reactions, were they straight from the start? Were they just like, wow?
Yeah. People were really excited about seeing the show. It's almost like they knew something that we didn't, and we were in it. We were going like, what? Why are they so mad? What's going on? This is before the curtain even went out. We were going, what is this? It's like that. We were all because the first song in the first preview, well, I think only lasted 2 nights. I think was Summer Night City. So the whole cast behind the rostra. So with the Tavernier, whatever it was, the wall, like going like, what is going on, and so like that, and then it literally just kicked off. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah. Back in the day, 20 odd years later.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So moving on to Panto.
Yeah.
You've done quite a few Pantos, and you've done Dame, and you've done or Ugly Sister, should I say, as well. And you've done Jean. Yeah. What's your favourite? What would you, if you could pick one, which would you pick to be?
It sounds lazy, but I love playing Ugly Sisters, or Ugly Sister, I should really say. And that's because, and the reason why I say it sounds lazy, because I've got something to bounce off with and be with. I mean, you've still got the essence of dames anyway with the Ugly Sister, but with being a dame, you're more on you're technically on your own with your audience, back and forth, stuff like that. Yes, with the cast and your son, depending what control it is. But with an Ugly Sister, you're there already. You've got a pact already. You're a team. And you got to be like deal with the audience, and your Ugly Sisters are horrible, but it's great being horrible. Because people say I'm a nice man, and I go like, really? I don't think I am. But it's nice to be like, say, the naughty side and the horrible side, because I can be vicious towards the audience and towards Cinderella, which I normally play against Cinderella. But I love playing Ugly Sister. But I've got some lovely other roles as well, and I love being a dame. But it's like, but at the moment, I'm loving wearing those shoes as Ugly Sister. I'm having a fantastic time. I've had a fantastic time, should we say? Yeah.
And you're just about to go into rehearsals. That's right, for Southampton.
Lucky enough, yeah. This week we're in tier 2, so we're going to be rehearsing as of Friday. Start rehearsals as of Friday. So I better look at my lines.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many pantos this year that are just not going ahead. It's like
because I mean, as far as I know, because I work for a company called Kudos at the moment, and they had 10 pantos, including the one at the Palladium.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because we've gone into the tiering system, some of them have had to either be postponed or cancelled altogether. But some of them at the moment, I think one of the producers, a lovely man called Michael Harrison, he is basically putting his finger out left, right, and centre. Not only is he directing the Palladium one right now, he's also trying to put other pantos in different areas like that. So he's moving pantos in other places. So you never know. Either be this year or later on in the year, maybe Easter time, that I've heard rumours that some other pantos will be happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's been a bit of it's an extreme honour to be part of it and to be doing panto, and be nice to be back in the theatre. Because as you probably speak to most actors, we kind of thought that it wouldn't happen at all this year. But we're lucky to be part of that. That we're on that, and also thank you to the National Lottery, who've also helped us. Well, I say us as the Royal us, and we kind of vibe of Panto World of Kudos. That's going to be happening. So yeah, I'll be in Southampton at the lovely Mayflower Theatre, Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah. I mean, how do you think? I mean, obviously it's going to be a social distance audience.
Yes, it will be, and on stage as well.
And then Southampton's like a huge, massive venue.
Yeah.
I was looking to go down to London to watch a couple of shows. In between the tiers, and one of them was Sleepless. Me and my friend went down to see Sleepless, and it was so well organised. It was absolutely brilliant. It was fantastic to be sat in a theatre audience again. But it made me wonder, from a performer's point of view, you look out and the audience members that you can see are there in their masks. You're not getting the same sort of feed from the audience as you possibly would, because you can't see their reaction so much. So how do you think that's going to work for Panto?
The answer is I don't know. It's going to be different. I mean, I've heard rumours, that the audience will be asked not to react or speak out or shout out. I don't know if they're going to take that on board into our production. It's one of those things. We are going into the unknown. But that's like with everything we've had so far since COVID's come into action, that we are doing something we just don't know. Obviously, the government have done, I'm being diplomatic here, but the government are trying to deal with it as best as possible. Some people think they haven't, but what's one thing we just remember, it's just something we've never dealt with a pandemic like this. So to answer your question, I just don't know how it's going to react. It's going to be weird the first couple of shows probably, because obviously you're used to like all the kids and like wands and stuff like that. We might I don't even know if they're selling merchandise. I don't know. So it's going to be a bit weird. So they're like, ooh.
Yeah.
It could be like going into like, it's a full house in respect to like social distance full house. it might feel like a really like bad matinee. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, is that it? But that's it. Because it's as full as it can possibly be. But we've had meetings. We've had about COVID to make sure that we're okay, that we feel safe within ourselves as performers, but also how it's going to be with the audience and stuff like that. So we're still doing meetings until up until I think we've got another meeting this week in actual fact. And then yeah, we start with us on Friday. And that'd be the big day. We'll meet each other properly. Well, no, physically.
Yeah. Be in your bubble, Panto bubble.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, right. Quick fire round.
Okay, right.
Right, okay.
Right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Right, I've got a little prop card, so bear with. Right.
You're right.
Tea or coffee?
Oh, I didn't hear you. You broke up then.
Sorry.
Say that again.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Sun or rain?
Sun.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Musical or play?
What? Musical.
Comedy or tragedy?
Comedy.
Sweet or savoury?
Savoury.
Meat or veg?
Meat.
Hugs or kisses?
Both.
Okay. Night out or night in?
Getting old now. Night in.
Tour or West End run?
I'm getting old. West End run.
Oh, okay. Favourite film?
Back to the Future.
First one?
Hmm?
First one.
Yes, definitely the first one, yeah.
Favourite book?
That's cool. That's fact. It's Michael J. Fox's autobiography. His first book, yeah. I can't remember what it's called right now, but yeah, it's my favorite book.
We'll go with that. And last question, ultimate comfort food.
Ooh. Chicken. Anything with chicken.
Okay.
Keeps me happy. I can't even think now. Like, yeah. Yeah.
You think of all these things later and go, oh, I should have said that.
I'll do it, yes.
Neal, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Have an amazing time in Southampton.
Thank you.
And break a leg.
Thank you very much. And you have an amazing Christmas.
Yes.
I know if I see you physically in the new year.
Yes, hopefully. We'll speak to you soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.